Hello everybody, this is Michael, aka Trainman3985, coming to you with another video. This one is a little bit unusual since it's been a while since I last did one of these. I'm making this video to clarify some things and to settle the air, or at least put some things to rest. It's regarding DeviantArt. There's been a user named Trainman3985X that's been making very highly detailed sprite OCs and sprites in general. And I've come today to basically, I have a confession to make. Trainman3985 and Trainman3985X are the exact same person. The deviant artist on DeviantArt posting highly detailed sprites was me all this time. This was a new account made for me way back in 2018. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. You probably didn't know it. Some people do. In fact, I think a good majority of people already know. And I'm pretty sure it's led to some confusion or curiosity as to why. Well, I'm here today to set the record straight and to clear up some things and hopefully to explain things. Now, before I start, I initially was going to script this, but I just decided to just talk about it. So if there's any awkward pauses or sighs, I do apologize. I wasn't going to talk about this initially, but you guys have helped me and supported me both on DeviantArt and on Profanity and on YouTube. So if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here today, so I feel you guys deserve the right to know what happened, and hopefully this video will answer a few questions. In addition to that, I am not telling this story to ask for pity. I'm just enlightening you guys of what's been going on and how things went the way they did. So with that said, let's get started. We have to wind the clock back to 2012. I discovered DeviantArt around May of 2012 when I was about to start my sophomore year in high school. And wow, it was very amazing. Seeing places to share art and share photographs was very appealing to me. And so I created an account and I've been on there ever since. I posted some amazing art pieces. I've shown trains, ponies, and during that time, it felt really great. I gained thousands of watchers, made a couple of new friends, a few of which have become my very close friends who still stick by me to this day. And there's even people who got into certain train pictures and sprites and photography that were even inspired by me, to which I'm extremely honored about. But of course, there are limits and rules to doing certain things, and if you don't follow them, it could bite you in the butt one day. I believe the saying is, you play with fire, you get burnt. So fast forward to about, I want to say October of 2016. I was chatting with a friend of mine, and then everything just froze and stopped, and I got a notification from DeviantArt saying that I was infinitely banned from doing stuff on DeviantArt again. I'm not going to go into detail of what happened, but all I will say is this. If you like role-playing, that's fine. You should never be judged for liking role-playing. But if you are going to roleplay, do not do it in the comments section of your pictures, your profile, or on a friend's picture or profile. You may think you can hide all of them, but once you say something, it's there forever. Because basically that's the internet, that's how it works. So when I got banned from DeviantArt, I was heartbroken, to say the least. I was very, very sad and depressed. And I didn't care about my reputation on DeviantArt. I didn't care about my art. All I cared about was my friends. Then all of a sudden, to be taken away from them all of a sudden, with a few exceptions. I just don't know how to describe it. I had an out-of-body experience. That's only the best way I could put it. And for the longest time, I went into a deep depression of guilt and shame because there were so many people who looked up to me, and to see me gone and banned, I felt like I'd let them all down. And this is going to sound like a weird idea, but think of it this way. Imagine there's two kids, a boy and a girl, and they're surrounded by people they know. Neighbors, friends, family, everybody knows them, they know them. And then all of a sudden, the kid takes a knife and stabs his sister to death. I take it from that you can imagine the shock, the shame, and guilt and disappointment that all of them went through. It was just hard to grasp. From October of 2016 all throughout to November of 2018, I never forgave myself. I didn't know any way to go about it. I did try at one point to try and get my channel put back up, but I didn't hear anything for a good long month or two. So I eventually found myself at a crossroad with two options. I could either, one, try and squander the next few days trying to get my account back on, or I could just accept what happened, let what happened go, move on, and get on with life. And I chose the latter because there wasn't really much I could do about it, because I had more important things to do, such as family, work, and around that time I was also graduating college. So for a while I took a hiatus from doing art to try and regather myself and to put better stuff ahead of me and to focus on more important things. The best part of it was my friends and family were there for me when I needed them, and they gave me their full support, and they helped guide me to a better path. And to this day, I can never be more grateful than to have such beautiful people as family and friends. After a while of contemplating it, I decided to join Forfinity and to try and find my foot again, and to try and regain my passion for making art. And also, looking back to when I was banned from DeviantArt, I used to think of it as a curse, but now I think of it as a blessing, because it was sort of like a wake-up call to me. Now, I know there's probably going to be people out there who are probably going to roll their eyes or say, that's not. I look at the time I was banned from DeviantArt as a wake-up call, because a lot of people tend to say that they never did this, or they're not like that, or just brush it off as a moment or something. But to be bluntly honest with you, from 2012 to 2016, I make it no secret I was a rather shady, questionable, and very emotional and opinionated kind of character back during that time. I always drew what I did. I thought everyone had to enjoy what I enjoyed. I thought people were just being mean, rude, and stupid, and I even thought that everyone was against me, and I thought that I had to yell and scream just to get back at them and to feel satisfied. And again, I wasn't a bright person back then, and I firmly believe that if I had gone the way I did, I probably would have become a toxic person, like, say, as toxic as a Thomas fan on Twitter, just as an example. And it led to me to do some very stupid things. And in retrospect, that is my fault, and I take full responsibility for it, and I do apologize for it. So, around November of 2018, one of my friends, who I will keep nameless here, she convinced me to try and go back onto DeviantArt and to try and go back to what I used to do, but find a better way to do it. And she created a new DeviantArt account and handed it to me, and It took me a while, but I eventually found my way of doing train sprites to find my footing again. Now, some of you are probably asking, why didn't I tell anybody about this? I didn't want to be overwhelmed and bombarded with a lot of people saying, "It's been so long. You need to come back. Oh, thank goodness you're back." Because you have no idea how much stress that could cause. I just felt the need to start over from scratch and to try and redeem myself. So for a while I went under the alias name of Railworks 1992, but eventually, after making some emotional pictures, I began to finally find my ground and find what I could do to differentiate myself and to rebuild myself, because looking back at my old account, it was like a sidewalk with a bunch of cracks, weeds growing out of it, garbage and liquid spilled all over it. Whereas my new account was a blank slate, metaphorically speaking, of course. And again, I just felt the need to start over from scratch. And I eventually started making detailed sprites of trains, and I gotta say, they've been very fun, and they gave me back my old purpose and my old passion for making drawings again. So fast forward to about, I want to say, September of 2021. I was looking at my old account and I didn't think much about getting it back because I figured, I don't think I'll ever get it back. So, preparing myself for a failure, I went and talked to a DA staff to try and get my old account back. And surprisingly, a DA staff did contact me about it. Let's call her Jennifer. So, Jennifer and I had a talk, and she told me that I was in violation of a few things, and that how I acted back then was inexcusable and unacceptable, and just laying down what was wrong, what I did wrong, and just basically everything. And I'm glad she did, because she was right, and I still wasn't convinced that I would get my old account back, but Jennifer talked to me, and I even said to her, I sincerely promise, if my account gets back up, I will follow the rules, and I will never, ever do something like that ever again. So after that, I closed everything and went to sleep, and the very next day, I looked and I saw my old account was back up. I even pulled up an email, and it said from Jennifer, "Thank you, welcome back to the community." And I was in like a daze. I didn't expect to get my old account back. But just as the excitement for getting my old account back came in, it was overshadowed and flooded by... It was overshadowed by guilt and shame, because all the bad memories from my past kept flooding back in, and I even look at some of my old artwork and it makes me cringe. And I remember one time I saw a piece of artwork that I did, and I got so sick I nearly regurgitated. A good majority of the stuff did not age well, and there was a lot of stuff I looked at and I'm like, boy, this is really cool, I'm glad I did this, I'm so proud. But I look back at it now and I keep thinking, what the fuck was wrong with me back then? What the hell was I thinking? So, I know some of you are thinking I didn't try, but I did legitimately try to see if I can bring my old account back. But all those bad memories and shame that I felt just couldn't. I just couldn't. So then I thought, maybe I could clean it up and give it to one of my friends and they can use it, or I could talk it over with a group of my friends and we could use it sort of like as a community channel and post art from all of us to make things diverse. But every time I did think about it, there was just a few things wrong, such as people may confuse the other people for me, or they wouldn't know what the hell was going on, or heck, they probably wouldn't even know what's going on at all. So, much like what happened with the band, I found myself at a crossroad with two options. I could either A, go back to my old ways and post pony pictures and trains up on the same channel, or 2, just forget about my old channel, let everything go, clean it up as best I can, and continue with my new channel and posting separate pictures on separate sites to make it look more uniform. Well, as you can all basically tell, I chose the latter, and to be honest, I'm glad I did. So I went through deleting all the old pictures from my old DA page, and it was so hard to see all those and all the guilt and shame and bad memories that happened during that time. If you want to know how hard it was, it took me a good majority of 4 days just to clean my old DA page. I did save a few pictures to the ones that didn't make me cringe or the one I thought could have potential. I eventually saved those, and I'm eventually thinking of repurposing them as sprites I could do on DA or pictures for pony pictures I could do on FA. Totally different story, so for now I digress. So I got most of the pictures done. Now I just need to do all the journals. In fact, by the time this video is up, the account, my old DA page account, will have long since been decommissioned. Kind of feels like I waited for nothing, kind of feels like a waste of time, and kind of feels like a burden, but hey, at least I get to end it on my say, on my own time, on my own terms. So I guess that's relieving in some way. I think I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say about this, so to wrap this all on up and to finally lay this burden to rest and to settle the air, I don't want this to continue any further. This is going to be the one and only time I will ever speak about it. My new DeviantArt page, Trainman3985X, is where you can follow me for my sprite stories, original characters, and new sprites. In fact, my recent upload is a detailed sprite of the SD70 class of engines, ranging from the SD70 standard cab to the SD70 Mac. I am no longer associated with the old DA page. I'm putting all that behind me now. A lot of my old friends actually came back and were very supportive of me coming back, and they said they were happy to see me again, and it feels good. It feels good to know that I still have loyal friends who still see me as a good person. But on the other side, I know not everyone's going to be as joyful, and some probably hate me now, and others think I'm a piece of shit, and others are probably going to never want to talk or associate with me again, and that's completely okay, because I can understand why. So I think that's everything, and I just wanted to make this little PSA video to settle some things, answer questions, and explain what exactly happened, and if there's retaliation from my now ex-former acquaintances, then so be it, but I'm not going to live like this. I'm sorry to everyone who I let down. I am sorry to my friends. I am sorry to my followers. I'm sorry to everyone. I don't expect to be forgiven. You don't have to forgive me. I'm just making this video to let everyone know that I am sorry. Hopefully I can continue to make art for you guys and to make videos to entertain you guys. I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.